Hello everyone, I'm Chad.
And I'm Ben.
Okay, we're talking about wedges and we want to help you hit the ball closer to the hole so you can make more birdies and have more fun playing golf. So we're really excited to talk about what we're going to do today because it had a remarkable impact on Ben and myself and our students at the Academy. So what we're talking about is controlling where the ball lands and what we're going to use what we call the wedge system. Ben, what's the wedge system, man?
The wedge system is a way to control your landing spot or your carry distances. So there was a wonderful gentleman, his name is Steve Lotz, he's from the St. Louis area. He introduced the system to us, so we're very excited to share it with you today. So you have to run a whole bunch of different experiments. So what we're going to do today is we are going to adjust positions on the grip and we're going to adjust the length of the swing to hit the ball different carry distances.
Got it. So there would be three ways to regulate the speed, assuming you have center contact.
Yep.
It would be the size of the swing, is that true?
You got it.
The speed of the swing, the tempo, yeah?
Yep.
And then the third way that you talked about is grip length, so you can make the shaft the very length of the club. So the longer the shaft, the faster the club head will go, shorter the shaft, slower the club head will go.
You got it.
So under pressure, we don't want you slowing down through the ball. We want you going through with some speed. So we're going to table tempo for right now. And the wedge system just focuses around size of the swing and the shaft length, yeah?
You got it.
So we're going to experiment and see what combinations of size or grip length, shaft length, make the ball do what. Okay, so the first step in this process is identifying how far the ball goes with your full swing. Is that true?
You got it. So on my first swings that I'm going to take, I'm going to use my normal grip and my normal golf swing. So I'm not trying to adjust my swing length and I'm gripping the golf club the same way I always would. I'm going to see how far the ball flies in the air.
Very good. So we just need to know how far does that ball go.
You got it.
All right, let's see. All right, so full swing there, hit it pretty solid, yeah?
You got it. And right around 100 yards.
Is that what you would expect with your 54? Is that normal for you?
Yes, when I play golf on the golf course, I'm right around between 100 and 105, somewhere right in that range.
Cool. So for the sake of the wedge system, some people would ask, well, how far should I hit it? We would say throw that out, and we just want to identify how far do you hit it.
Yeah.
And really understanding that and taking that information to the golf course. So if you did that a couple times and you're out at the range or you're at home on your launch monitor, just really identifying the average carry distance is what we're after. Is that true?
You got it.
So, so you don't have to hit a bunch of shots. We know 100 for you. So now, if you go to the next step in our wedge system here that Steve Lotz introduced us to, what would you do?
Next adjustment we're going to make, so we're going to grip down on the club 1 inch, and then we're going to stop our backswing when we form an L with the club shaft and the lead arm. Okay, so my lead arm right now is parallel with the ground, and the club shaft is straight up in the air. So I have a nice little L formed.
Yeah, so face the camera so they can get a better sense of that. So we would say making the L, and then your front arm, your lead arm is parallel to the ground, yeah?
You got it.
Very good. So maybe you could get in front of a mirror or, sliding door in the back deck or whatever and really copy this feel, yeah?
Yeah, or even some video feedback on your phone. So if you're wondering like where you actually are versus the intention, I think using a little bit of video feedback could actually be beneficial.
Very good. So in this one, our next step in this wedge progression is gripping it down 1 inch and going to this L look or the lead arm parallel to the ground, yeah?
Yes, sir.
All right, show us what that could look like. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to get this thing to light up here real quick. There we go. All right, so we're interested to see here, does that knock some distance off of the ball without slowing down, so you didn't change the speed of the swing, right?
So on the launch monitor, it said that I carried that last ball 83 yards. So I went from carrying it 100 yards to 83 yards, just by adjusting the grip length, or the grip, and where I'm at with my swing.
Very good. So you didn't try to slow down, just changing those two things and whammo, knock 15 yards off.
I went 1 inch down and tried to form the L with my lead arm and the club shaft.
Cool. So the cool thing about this wedge system is what we're doing is we're identifying yardages that you know you can hit. So we would say for every yardage you can identify, it's like adding an extra club to your bag. So let's say that 85 kept showing up, and then you get it on the golf course and you have 85 yards to the hole.
Boom.
What do you do?
1 inch down, L.
Very good. So it's like having the answers to the test before you go take the test. Yeah?
You got it.
Very good. So that's really what we're trying to figure out is when I do this, I get that. So if you kept doing that, is 85 what typically shows up for you?
85 is, so when I have that yardage on the golf course, that's exactly what I do. 1 inch down, L-shaped, it works every time.
All right, cool. Okay, so now let's go to the next level of the wedge system. And what would you do with your grip, and what would you do with your arm or your swing size?
So now the grip adjustment I'm making is I'm putting my hands in the middle of the grip. So we call this mid-grip, and then we're going to try to take our hands to the top of your belt line. So somewhere right in here. And once again, the most important thing here is let's keep our speed up. So I'm not trying to slow everything down, I'm trying to maintain that same speed.
All right, cool. So rather than the L look, you're going to go hands to belt high.
Yep.
And then grip down a little bit farther.
You got it.
Okay, let's see what that would look like. All right.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, so that one carried about 56. Is that where it hit the ground?
That is true.
Yeah, cool.
So far I have 100, I have 85, and I have 56.
Very good. So at home, we would encourage you, hit a collection of balls, and you're really looking for the average carry distance, right? So if you know that it's 55 or maybe 60, whatever it is, that is what you were looking for. So that's what you can take to the course and use with you.
You got it.
Okay, so we have mid-grip, hands to pocket. What's the next order we would go down?
Next one we are going to grip down to the bottom of the grip, and I'm going to try to bring my hands back to my pocket. So, hand position here, I'm just going right to my pocket. Now I'm going to see what happens.
Got it. All right.
Bottom grip, pocket, off I go.
45. You knocked
45.
another 10 yards off.
You got it. So I have 100, I have 85, I have rough 55, and 45.
That's good to know.
I think we're onto something.
Yeah. So again, he's not slowing down or trying to manage his tempo, because under pressure that gets to be a hard thing to do.
Very hard.
So we want to be able to put the enthusiasm through the ball and then know that that ball's not going to go flying 20 yards over the green.
You got it.
So this is an invaluable, so for those of you who are looking to make more solid contact and get a sense of distance control, this is going to be critical. For those of you who are looking to shoot under 85 or 80, this is going to knock it out of the park for you. Okay, so the last one in line. What's the farthest grip length you can make?
Okay, my new grip, my index finger is going to be on the steel now. Okay, so I'm gripping all the way down to the steel, and then I'm going to try to get my club shaft to where it's parallel with the ground. And I'm going to see how far this ball goes.
Cool. Well, that was pretty cool. So it's like you walked the ladder all the way down to about 35
very
yards
nice
there.
gapping, isn't that?
Yeah.
So basically 100, 55, 45, 35.
Cool.
Seems pretty simple to me.
Totally. So for making these adjustments, he was able to knock off distance of each shot without slowing down or sacrificing contact, if you will. Yeah. So this is something that you'd be surprised if you really take the system and start finding out what the ball does do. You're going to learn a whole bunch, and you're going to be surprised at how solidly you start hitting it. So that's something that I always observe when we do this with students, is people actually start hitting it better once they start playing around with different swing lengths.
Yeah, sometimes you just might have to be careful. So let's say you're experimenting with maybe the L at the top of the swing, or bringing your hands back to the top of the belt. If the ball goes farther than your full swing, it might be telling you something. So you can use that to help you strike it better. So if you're trying to form the L, you hit it solid, and then you get a camera out and you notice it's a little bit past it, you could probably take that swing out to the golf course and use that to help yourself hit it more solid, hit more greens in regulation.
It's amazing how it works. So not only, so in this case you were using the 54.
I was, yes.
Would you run it with your 58 or 60?
Yes.
And then identify what those distances are?
You got it.
Would you run it with your gap wedge or your pitching wedge?
Yes, sir.
9 iron?
Yep.
8 iron?
Yep.
7 iron?
Yep.
Oh.
You want to keep going?
Yeah. Where would you stop?
To be honest with you, I'd probably stop right around the 5 or 6 iron. So the reason that it's so important to train with all the clubs is because you're going to encounter situations when you have to punch out of trees and you're trying to hit at a certain distance. So if you do this with all the golf clubs, you're going to have a good idea. Like if you have to hit a 5 iron underneath a tree, but it can only go 50 yards, you're going to learn how to do that by playing around with the system. So be open-minded when you're playing around with our wedge system.
Another thing is when you're playing on windy days, high school kids do this a lot, as they hit everything hard. And there's nothing, hard and high, and the wind blows it all over the place. So let's say that you want to, have a 140-yard shot. let's say they hit their 9-iron 140. What would happen if you took your 8-iron grip down a little bit, did an L look? Get that
Probably
ball
go
in there
lower and go 140.
and solid, yeah. Yeah, so use this system. So we call it the wedge system, but really you can use it through about the 5 or 6 iron like you had talked about. And then remember, every yardage that you can identify that works for you is like adding an extra club to your bag. So there's flexibility within this. There's no perfect. Just find out what components make the ball do different distances, and you'll be surprised what you get. So we thank you for tuning in. Keep up your training, and we'll look forward to seeing you the next time at the OptiShot Academy.